CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tragedy has struck a small community in northern British Columbia. Local authorities there say 9 people are dead after a mass shooting that also injured dozens of others. With more from Tumbler Ridge, here's Kathy Lee.
The police tape, the flowers, a closed-off road in front of Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. The marks of tragedy are everywhere in this small northeastern BC community.
My heart is just broken today.
Kyle McKenzie moved to the town of 2,400 less than a year ago. Tuesday's school shooting, impossible to comprehend.
My granddaughter and grandson go to this school.
He and everyone here want answers. Today, RCMP revealing more about 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar.
Jesse was born as a biological male. Approximately 6 years ago, began to transition to female.
She dropped out of school 4 years ago and was known to police. Officers have been called to the family home, now also a crime scene, multiple times for mental health concerns, and say Rootselaar was apprehended in the past.
So they bring them to the clinician, there's assessments done, maybe held overnight, and a decision's made whether or not they're safe to be released, safe to themselves and safe to community members.
At this point in the investigation, 2 firearms, a long gun and a modified handgun were found.
Determining the origin of these firearms and what role they played in the shootings remains a significant part of the active and ongoing investigation.
With no clear motive or a suspect to question, police are interviewing friends and family, looking for warning signs.
They will look at the mental health calls. They will look at relationships. They will look at diaries, journals, online presence, all of that to try, and the emphasis is on try, to figure out what happened.
As officers continue their work, police are asking people to refrain from speculating about a motive in the shooting, saying that it's still very early in the investigation. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
Local faith leaders are coming together, opening a new overnight warming center. With more on those efforts and the community need for these services, here's Lauren Stallone.
Faith communities across London are working to expand consistent overnight warming centers throughout the winter months.
I don't think anyone could have predicted how very cold this winter was going to be.
Reverend Kevin George, whose congregation opened earlier this month during extreme cold, says he's seen the need up close.
St. Paul's Cathedral didn't have the capacity to do this every night of the week, but we could probably do a couple of nights, and so I reached out to a couple of colleagues.
When the opportunity came up for us to be able to partner with Arcade and other churches in the community, we were looking for a space that would be able to be open for our guests 7 days a week, and we were able to provide that.
A new warming space is set to open on February 17th at Holy Trinity St. Stephen's Memorial Anglican Church on Southdale Road.
We're dealing with so many folks right now who don't have any place to call home, who are struggling and suffering on the streets of our city.
This comes after London City Council's approval Tuesday night of the Community and Protective Services report on temporary warming centers. The approved motion allows community organizations to open funded warming spaces at -5 degrees Celsius.
It actually is no surprise at all that with the kinds of numbers of people that we see experiencing homelessness, that our current shelter system, our current indoor spaces are inadequate to meet the need.
Sarah Campbell, Executive Director of Arcade Street Mission, a charity aimed at providing support for people experiencing homelessness, says the new framework will allow earlier responses during cold weather events.
On an average weekend, we're seeing up to 400 unique people. And so, yes, we will tell people that this location is there, but more importantly, if people present at our locations and we're full, we'll actually do a warm transfer. We'll send them on a bus or a cab.
Campbell says funding adjustments will allow an additional 30 spaces at Holy Trinity St. Stephen's.
This area doesn't have a lot of services, and so we're actually hopeful that we'll see new people coming from encampments, new people who are experiencing homelessness find a resource and be able to start their journey towards permanent home.
The center will be open daily from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m. until April 1st. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Now, also part of those council discussions last night, an extension for frontline agency contracts to 2 years. As Brian Bicknell reports, it's hoped that will provide stability for those services going forward.
A crowd of advocates for London's homeless filled the council gallery as councillors engaged in a drawn-out debate about how to protect those living outdoors in the cold winter months.
The federal government's pulling out $4.2 million in funding locally. And, I've said to all of you, that is terrible, but I cannot backfill that from a property tax base.
So our homelessness response is already stretched thin. Why are we talking about cutting off the hands, our main hands of doing the work that we need to do? It's baffling to me.
Council opted to maintain 2-year contracts with agencies that provide services to those on the streets. A proposal to shorten contracts to 1 year with an option to renew for a second year was voted down.
We second guess whether we want to take action under the action plan. We don't take action under the action plan, then we wonder why the action plan isn't working. It's a death loop.
Meanwhile, $290,000 was approved to lower the threshold to open the Boyle Community Centre as an emergency warming centre. The new standard is -15 Celsius or -20 wind chill, as opposed to the previous standard that both conditions be met.
I'm fully supportive, even though it's oversaturated in my ward, even though it's been the same thing year after year after year. It's the right thing to do. I appreciate the work of my colleagues, but we can do better than this.
The change adds roughly 20 nights per winter to the existing 10 nights. And a couple of more controversial proposals did not make the cut. One called for funding for London Care's Project Home to be redirected. The other for a so-called good neighbor clause, which would have required shelters to maintain stricter property standards. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Construction on a new reservoir in southwest London is nearing completion. It's designed to maintain a secure water supply for decades to come. With more on the project and what it means for the city, here's Jerry Dewan.
Construction of the new Springbank Reservoir number 2 has been underway since the spring of 2024. The new addition will nearly double the capacity of the previous reservoir.
We're going from about 45 million litres to 88 million litres.
The project is the result of recommendations that came from a 2019 long-term water storage environmental assessment.
As the city grows, we need to be able to store more water, and as well, the old reservoir, which was built around World War I, was at the end of its life.
There are actually 3 reservoirs along Commissioners Road at the top of Snake Hill. The third is on the south side, and for the size of it, it's pretty inconspicuous. Reservoir 1 is immediately to the west of the new reservoir. Combined, the 3 hold about 250 million litres of water. They're fed from Lake Erie and Lake Huron, where the water is treated and made safe. The first reservoir was built in this area back in 1878, using a simple strategy that still works today.
We're up on a hill, so actually from here, it's by gravity that most of the city gets their water pressure from.
The crews have been working from west to east to create the massive structure that will be filled with water up to a meter from the ceiling. The water is funneled to homes and businesses throughout the day and replenished at night. The concrete work should be done this spring, and after testing, the reservoir will be operational in the fall. The key is to ensure a secure supply of water even in an emergency, like a prolonged power outage.
We try to keep a big reserve so that if there is anything that happens, everybody still has drinking water, and we've been very successful at that to date. We have about 2 days worth supply of water stored.
When it's done, the reservoir will be covered with soil and grass to become parkland that overlooks the city. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
St. Thomas Mayor Joe Preston says he won't seek re-election this fall, announcing his retirement from politics. With more on his impact through years of public service, here's Sean Irvin.
With his city riding a wave of economic and social innovation, Joe Preston is stepping away from the mayor's office. He will not run this fall.
6 elections, 6 ballots. It's time for me to pass the baton and let someone else do the job.
During his 2 terms as mayor, Joe Preston has led a team that changed St. Thomas. In economic development, his greatest win has been landing the Vianode factory, and prior to that, Volkswagen.
This is the largest automotive facility ever in Canada.
Preston says it never would have happened without cooperation.
Name me 3 other projects in the world where the 3 levels of government actually all agreed and said, let's all row the boat in this direction.
But believe it or not, those generational economic development announcements are not at the top of Preston's accomplishment list. Over his 2 terms, he is most proud of movement he's made in homelessness and housing.
We have no one camping in our community. We during the coldest winter we've seen in a long time, we've had everybody indoors.
An aggressive campaign to build affordable housing is a big reason why. Preston and his city have been lauded nationwide for their efforts.
Really proud of what we've been able to accomplish from a homelessness, mental health, and addictions point of view.
Before becoming mayor, Preston won 4 elections as a Conservative MP. But it's his civic service he'll fondly recall as he steps away.
Because once I found municipal politics, I would never have done anything else.
Elgin County Warden Dominique Giguère calls Preston a catalyst in unlocking the potential of the region. London Mayor Joss Morgan called Preston a friend who leaves an indelible mark, adding that his membership and collaboration have been appreciated. For his part, Preston is warning future leaders to stay focused in the face of world challenges.
And now we have a plague called Trump. So it's you know, and what that's doing to affect Southern Ontario is let's just stay positive and go forward.
With 8 months left in his term, Preston says there are still improvements to be made. But overall, he's content with what he's accomplished for St. Thomas.
I mean, he can look back at the career as mayor and say, didn't miss much. Hit the marks on most of what we're trying to do.
In St. Thomas, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
The London Knights hosted the Guelph Storm earlier tonight at Canada Life Place.
Back the other way, quick shot, scores!
The Knights were nearly 20 points ahead of Guelph in the OHL standings coming into this game. The result did not reflect that, though. Guelph never trailed, adding an empty netter to clinch a 4-2 win. The Knights have now lost back-to-back games. Their next game, Friday night, when they host Sault Ste. Marie. There are growing concerns at the Olympics over ice maintenance for multiple events. Canadian athletes are calling out the condition, saying it's some of the worst ice they've skated on this season. With more, here's Heather Butts.
Fresh off their silver medal win in the mixed team relay, these short track speed skaters relieved their hard work paid off. And while there's excitement, there's also disappointment in the ice conditions athletes are facing.
Yeah, honestly, it's really bad. There was so many falls, and it's probably the worst ice of the year we've had.
A world champion in the 1,000-meter Stephen Dubois crashed during the qualifying round, leading to an early exit in his individual race.
At the games, it's always hard. They have to manage with the ice, the figure skating and the short track, and it's really not the same ice that we like. We have different opinions about it.
Some Team USA skaters also blaming the soft ice for a number of falls. Ice temperature varies depending on discipline. Figure skating ice is typically warmer and softer. Hockey ice cold and hard. Speed skating is typically coldest, generating the most speed. During the Olympics, figure skating and short track have traditionally shared a venue, requiring quick condition changes. We put the quality concern to Olympic officials. Is this something you're looking into? We are aware of very few issues, said this Olympic official, pointing to ice masters who he says check conditions constantly, claiming they have received compliments on the quality of field of play. Canada's equipment technician says it's up to athletes to adapt to the changing conditions.
Every athlete has to kind of work with it, so it seems fair for everyone. But sometimes it feels a bit unfair when you give your best and it's the ice that doesn't hold under you.
Dubois said he hopes crews will do a better job in the next few days, but now they know what to expect, and Canada has already managed it well, claiming that silver medal in the mixed team relay. Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
Meanwhile, Canada added another medal today, bringing our total to 4. Scott Hurst has a recap of today's highlights.
A podium finish for Canadian ice dancers Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier, their first Olympic medal.
They've been working really hard. They're an amazing pair together. They've been together for about 15 years now.
The 3-time Olympians were in third after the rhythm dance. They put down a score of 131.56 in the free dance for a combined total of 217.74, and that secured them the bronze medal. Reigning Olympic silver medalist in the men's speed skating 1,000-meter, Laurent Dubreuil, was one of 3 Canadians racing for a medal in the event at Milano Cortina. De Bruyne, however, failed to reach the podium this time around, finishing 8th overall. A thrilling finish in the women's freestyle moguls event. Saskatchewan's Maya Schwinghammer reaching the top 8 medal round, putting down a final run score of 77.61. She was just off the podium, however, 5th in her first Olympic Games. Another Olympic final is booked for Elizabeth Hosking in snowboard halfpipe. The Quebec athlete in her 3rd Olympic Games was 8th in qualifying today. The 12-rider final takes place on Thursday. 4 Canadians were taking part in the men's Super G. Jack Crawford, the top athlete wearing the maple leaf, placing 16th in the alpine skiing event, about a second and a half behind the winner. Medals were on the line in biathlon. The top Canadian was 23-year-old Calgarian Pascal Parody, finishing in 24th place. 4-player curling is now underway. Team Brad Jacobs opening up their Milano Cortina experience with a win over Germany. Men's hockey is now officially underway. Canada's first game is tomorrow against Czechia. The women will wrap up their preliminary round in a game tomorrow as well against Finland. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Still to come, among the best in the country, Western's track teams and their goal to repeat as national champs. Canada's main stock index finished flat today, while American markets edged lower. The TSX lost 3 points. In New York, the Dow fell 67, the Nasdaq dropped 36. The Canadian dollar down, 0.16 of a cent. On commodity markets, gold gained more than $67 an ounce, and oil added 67 cents a barrel. 6 Republicans defied the White House, joining Democrats in voting against tariffs on Canada today.
The joint resolution is passed.
The House voted 219 to 211 in favor of a resolution to terminate the fentanyl emergency invoked last year before President Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian imports. The measure is largely considered symbolic, though, because of the likelihood of a presidential veto should it even get through the U.S. Senate. Meanwhile, more fallout in the controversy surrounding Donald Trump and the new bridge connecting Windsor and Detroit. With the latest, here's Travis Fortnum.
A Windsor City Councilor is urging residents to rethink how they get across the border.
If you have the ability to choose between the Ambassador Bridge or the Windsor-Detroit Tunnel, choose the tunnel.
Ward 7 Rep. Angelo Marignani is not going so far as to call for a boycott, but he, like many, isn't happy in the wake of New York Times reporting, saying sources were briefed on a meeting between Ambassador Bridge owner Matthew Maroon and U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, not long before Trump took to social media threatening to block the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge.
I was in shock, but then you started hearing how the Maroon family actually lobbied to get this done, and that information then came forward, and that sort of sparked this.
In a media availability Tuesday, Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell also saying she was told a meeting between Maroon and Lutnick took place, though the White House has declined to comment. Former Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, who helped negotiate the original agreement for the new crossing, says delay only benefits one player.
The Maroons are the only party that benefits from delaying the bridge. They make a lot more money at the expense of Canadian and American consumers and everyone else that would benefit with the new bridge being opened.
Snyder notes the Maroon family has opposed the Gordie Howe Bridge since the very beginning, including issuing a string of legal challenges aimed at stopping it.
So it's clear they found someone to talk to. I don't know if it was Lutnick or someone else, but they got someone to go talk to the president and give him bad information.
Windsor's mayor saying this is a unique quirk of having an international crossing held in private hands.
I get it. His job is to do what's right for his businesses and his crossing. My job as mayor is to protect my community and the people who live here. And so I'll do my job. He will do his job.
CTV News has reached out to the Ambassador Bridge Company for comment from Matthew Maroon, but did not hear back by deadline.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
Hi there. We have some flurries ending in London, but a freezing drizzle, so watch for some icy conditions. -7 heading into tomorrow morning. Thanks, Chris. Bella looks like she's bringing her stick right to you. If you are heading out in the morning for a walk, the wind's continuing out of the northwest. We'll hold on to a bit of cloud cover first thing, but expecting a mix of sun and cloud to take hold. by Thursday afternoon. I'll have your local weather details right after this.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie Adjison now. And what a difference a week makes when you look out on that 7-day forecast. There's a lot of positive temperatures I'm seeing now.
Yes, and that's good news. We've been battling our way through the cold this month. The temperatures averaging below normal. As we head into the weekend, we have some milder conditions and a major pattern shift coming our way next week. Now today, our high at the freezing mark, that was reached at midnight. So temperatures on the colder side through the day, and the temperature really starting to come down out there tonight. We have some gusty winds with some blowing snow, and we had some patchy freezing drizzle in through parts of Midwestern Ontario. Overnight lows from -7 to -10, factoring in the wind chill, feeling close to a -14. Our lake effect snow continues to create some issues on area roads and keep us in this wintry pattern. We have an upper level trough in place, and that trough is drawing in the colder air over the Great Lakes. But that trough will be shifting east in the coming days and allowing us to change our upper level pattern, allowing some milder temperatures to return to the Great Lakes Basin. So we've had some nice weather in Western Canada to a mix of sun and cloud across the prairies today. And then as we move out east, we've had some heavy snowfall right through New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and parts of Newfoundland. So the chance of light snow winding down, you can see in Huron County as we head into tomorrow morning. We'll still have some light flurries, probability of flurries tomorrow, just a 40% chance. But the main snow flurry action in London winding down overnight. And then the chance for flurries tomorrow, probability on the very low end at just 30%. It'll be a cold morning with the wind chill first thing, feeling close to -14. By the afternoon, though, under a mix of sun and cloud, we'll hit -3 and winds out of the northwest. We have a very cold night coming Thursday night into Friday morning. That'll be the end of the bitterly cold temperatures as we head into the extended forecast, but we are going to drop down to about -15 to -17 in parts of southern Ontario, and then you factor in the wind chill, it will be colder than that. So icy cold start Friday morning, but we're back up to 2 degrees. +2 as we head into Saturday in a mix of sun and cloud, cloudy on Sunday and 5 degrees for your Monday. We'll hit 6 on Tuesday with a chance of a nighttime rain snow mix, and then periods of rain on Wednesday. So the Wednesday forecast, 8 degrees. There's a potential we could see even milder temperatures. So at this point, forecast models are indicating that we are going to see a major warm up as we head a week out. Midwestern Ontario, still a few flurries for you tonight and blowing snow, icy roads. Leave yourself lots of extra time. Take it easy. You know how it goes. We still have a little bit to get through. We have a couple cold nights on the way, but some nice breaks of sunshine heading into Friday and Saturday. A bit more in the way of cloud cover Sunday and holiday Monday, but daytime highs over the holiday weekend anywhere from 2 to 4 degrees.
Thanks, Julie. Substantial snow drifts in Huron County are starting to recede thanks to warmer temperatures, and road crews who have been using snow blowers along highways to clear some of the more obstructive drifts this week. Some of them are more than 6 feet high. According to workers, they're trying to limit more drift formations across roadways and preventing closures. Elsewhere in Bruce County, there were some road closures today because of high winds and blowing snow. The Western Mustangs track teams are ranked among the best in the country. The women are number 2, while the men are ranked 3rd. With more on their mission to defend a national championship, here's Brent Lail.
I think we have a lot of momentum coming into the OUA.
Heading into the upcoming Ontario Championships at York University, the defending U Sports champions are no longer the hunters. They are the hunted.
Last year was absolutely, undoubtedly a once-in-a-lifetime team, and that's something we all kind of had to wrap our heads around heading into this season. Like, last year was not the norm.
This season is a little different. Western Track lost some superstars. However, they did replace them with others, like rookie heptathlete Jackson McKay, who broke the U Sports record in his first meet.
I cannot wait for York and honestly to do another hep if I end up doing it OUAs, and yeah, I'm super excited, and I honestly can't wait for that.
The changes around campus aren't just with a new crop of athletes. They have a new boss at the helm after Vicky Crowley retired on top. Caroline Earhart, a 10-time Canadian champion triple jumper, has moved from assistant to head coach.
My experience in the sport has very much come in clutch through this transition. Vicky told me a few years ago, you take little pieces away from every coach that you've ever worked with. I couldn't have asked for a more seamless experience, like having already been on the coaching staff for the past 4 seasons previous to this, and as well as just always having Vicky as a mentor and having her on standby on the phone.
Some of the athletes admit they were feeling the pressure of trying to defend a title, but that went away quickly.
I think our focus was our team culture and bringing the young ones in to really just feel like a family, because I think that's where a lot of our success comes from.
And despite losing some heavy hitters and U Sports individual champions, this team is rebuilding, while still a powerhouse.
We're seeing some of our younger cohort really step up and fill those spots. And we won't be graduating a lot of athletes this year. So again, exciting times to come.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, Canadian fans in Milan looking for a place to cheer together. On past Olympic Games, there's been an official Canada House, but that's not the case this year. With more on the Canadians making their own home away from home, here's Garrett Barry.
A friendly invasion, a sea of red taking over this Milan sports bar and making it, man, I feel like a woman, the unofficial Canada HQ.
This is an amazing place. I've just got a whole new room full of friends here.
What started with a few WhatsApp messages and Facebook callouts has become an act of some international diplomacy on one of the world's biggest stages.
People see my Canadian flag on my lapel, only the best energy that's given back to me. I'm really proud to be Canadian.
The Canadians are filling the chairs.
We have a lot of Olympic tickets, but we wanted to do at least have one big Canadian game where we would be with a bunch of Canadian fans.
If you see us hanging out here, come on over and say hi. We're making friends, meeting people from all over the country.
They're flipping the channels over to hockey and explaining the rules to everyone around.
I've seen the sport before, but I've never understood it. I've been educated by Jason's, like offensive line and the blue line.
The Italian staff can't seem to get enough.
Love this place, Blues Canal, because we are like to building a place where people can just be themselves, bringing something from their country.
Gabriella told me that her new Canadian customers and friends are always trying to solve problems and really are just nice. Garrett Barry, CTV News, Milan.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.